What's the number one mistake women over 35 make when trying to lose weight? Excessive caloric deficit and lots of cardio. Does it work? Sure, for some time, but then it stops. And worse, if they try to eat more and do less cardio, they end up gaining all their weights back because this is not sustainable. Why does it happen? Because they didn't lose just fat, they also lost muscles, and muscle is active tissue. When you start to lose muscles, you lose your metabolic flexibility, your body's ability to better process carbohydrates and burn fat. Why women over 35 cannot trade muscles? I'm saying women over 35 because when you hit your 30s, every year you start to lose a little bit of muscles if you don't do anything about it. When you are over 35, you cannot just trade any muscles. Your muscles are your 24/7 fat burning organ. So in today's video, I'm going to explain to you the importance of having muscles and what you can do to avoid shrinking your metabolism. Let's go. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Camila and I am from Brazil. I'm a health coach and I take care of women. So one mistake women do is treating exercise as your caloric burn. Obviously, it's going to burn more calories and that's going to help with the caloric deficit. But when you do cardio, you only burn calories when you are exercising and maybe some epoch post-exercise, but nothing huge. When you have muscles, you burn calories even when you are sleeping. And why? Because muscles are expensive. Your body burns calories just to keep your muscles there. Your body doesn't burn a lot of calories to keep fat, but muscles, they are important, they are expensive. So you have your BMR, your Basal Metabolic Rate. When you have muscles, your BMR is higher. When you have just a few muscles, this is going to be very low. What's the BMR? It's the minimal amount of calories that your body burns to keep you alive. So if your BMR is very low and it gets even lower because you lost a lot of weight and you lost a lot of muscles, it's going to be very hard, super hard to lose more weight and to keep your metabolic flexibility. Because of this, some people end up having to eat 1000 calories and they are not able to eat more because their BMR is very low, and also the hormones. And I do have a video explaining what happens to your hormones when you go into a caloric deficit for prolonged time. Second thing are carbohydrates. When you have less muscles, you must eat less carbohydrates. Your body doesn't handle carbohydrates well when you have less muscles. Why? Your body is going to use carbohydrates for energy, for your brain. Your liver is going to store a little bit of carbohydrates, but your muscles will store more carbohydrates as muscle glycogen. So the more muscles you have, the more carbohydrates you can store. So if you keep losing muscles, you won't be able to save carbohydrates in your body. And when you eat more carbohydrates than you need, your insulin will try to handle your blood glucose, and over time it can make you become more insulin resistant. And when you have insulin resistance, your body doesn't know how to properly metabolize carbohydrates, how to burn fats, and you end up accumulating more fats, struggling more to lose weight. And carbohydrates become your enemy. You eat carbohydrates, you gain fats, and then you have a bad relationship with carbohydrates. If you are not going to a ketogenic diet and you still want to eat some carbohydrates and you just don't have a lot of muscles, you lost a lot of muscles, at least try to eat your carbohydrates in your most active time of the day. For example, pre and post workout. Don't try to eat carbohydrates when you are going to sleep, unless you are under a lot of stress, and sometimes this is going to help because it puts you in your parasympathetic system and makes you sleep better, but just in a few cases, okay? So try to eat carbohydrates in the most active times of your day. And let's talk about how to build this 24/7 fat burning organ in your body. First thing, Many times we just work out for prolonged time, but we don't change the intensity, we don't increase the weights, we don't change anything, and also we don't see any results. This is because muscles respond to stimulus. If you exercise heavier, lift heavier weights with proper form, of course, your body is going to send signals that release hormones that help grow muscles. So your body needs stimulus. Your muscles respond to mechanic tension. You feel the pump, you feel the muscle connection. All of those things will help you build muscles. And sometimes, for example, you think that intensity is like doing 30 repetitions with very light weights and then you feel the burn. Many times this burn doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean that you are building muscles. Muscles will respond better to stimulus. Okay? Because your body has to adapt to that load. For example, if you are doing squats and you do squats with 100 pounds and you want to increase to 120 pounds, your body must be able to lift the 20 more pounds. This happens when you build more muscles. Your body is going to build more muscles to adapt to that weight. This is why progressive loads are amazing and they work. But of course, periodization is key because you are not going to lift heavier all the time. You need deloads. Sometimes when you rest, you change the strategy. This is what periodization will help. Another thing that women struggle a lot is the protein. Protein is super important for building muscles. Proteins are the raw material to build muscles, and everybody gets confused about the amount of protein that's going to be useful for the day. It depends on your weight, your age, your amount of muscles, level of activity, and so on. But many women will benefit from eating between 100 to 150 grams of protein per day. And I know a lot struggle to get this protein in, and sometimes we need to try some protein powder, amino acids, and so on. And for example, if you do 5 meals in a day, try 30 grams of protein in each meal, and this is going to be fine for you. And another thing that people ignore is rest. When you rest, you grow. In your sleep, you release hormones, for example, growth hormone that will help with muscle repair, and you repair when you sleep. Another thing that affects a lot of women over 35, and I say over 35 because over the years we get less resilient to stress, and over time it gets worse. So stress is very catabolic. If you have unbalanced levels of cortisol, that may affect your metabolism and also how you build muscles. So it's something that you must have in mind and get into control. And if you want to understand better about cortisol and blood work, watch my video about lab work. I read some clients' lab work and explain better what happens to them and how cortisol can affect your life. So stop trying to be smaller and try to get stronger. This is what is going to fix your metabolism. Muscles are active tissue. They will help improve your metabolism. If you want to age better, feel beautiful, stronger, functional, muscles are the key. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to understand better about your hormones, you can also download my free hormone guides. I will leave the link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends, and let's grow the community. Thank you so much.